hopefully the word gets out that I'm actually resuming. And we will be able to carry on. Otherwise you never know, people might miss a game. I'm going to hold up for just a minute here. But yes, we are into the semis now. We have Tren, 10th Wave, Ian from BBI, and Azure coming forwards into the semis. So, yes. Oh, we shall kick off and people will join when they join. Worst case scenario, they can always go and watch the saved logs when you get a chance. So, for any of you watching these back, welcome and please enjoy. If you're not already a member of the DOK Discord, please do look into it. I know that Dreamlands on YouTube has links, as does Magpie842, and there is also a link to it on the Steam forums. But for now, we have 10th Wave in his white and blue coalition against Tren in his red and yellow Kniff. Now, in the last set, Tren managed to sneak through, quite frankly, let's be honest. Citral had him in at least 2 games, like, just had his number. And, no, that last one, Tren sneaking on through. Meanwhile, 10th just put on a hell of a fight with Majir. Just quite the back and forth. But again, 10th just managed to sneak through and beat Majir to the punch. But yeah, quite the fight. Now then, as we kick off, we've got 10th getting a probe out to try and get some scouting done. Let's see. Comes into range of the production cruiser and survives quite nicely. So, however, it's going to run into the base runner and go down, which is a shame. 2 LAVs out, 3 LAVs out. Tech-wise, AV Fab? No, he's overspent on the salvagers. Again, always avoid having long production queues unless you want to get a large queue up going, because you've got a float and you just need to make sure you're burning that. By keeping that lower, even just by doing only 2 at a time, he would have had easy access to get AAV Fab already done. In the meantime, however, trying to stop this base runner pop smoke. Meanwhile, again we've got Tren saturating both his main and his expansion as quickly as possible. And 2 blast drones coming in. Are they going to be able to connect though is the question. Coming in. There is power in weapons. Is it going to be enough though? Oh, it is not. 2 salvages go down. Bit of damage there, but yes. If they had come in from a different angle, they could have done a lot more damage too. In the meantime, base runner trying to get away. It is producing a blast drone though. Got to be very careful here. If these LAVs stay this close, only gets 2. That could have been far worse. Pick up for 10th Wave as well, heading out. And Trell also saturating both his expansion and main. No, he doesn't have any excess salvagers. Base runner goes down without picking up though. Meanwhile, 10th Wave has a free run to the extraction zone. Now, what have we got tech-wise? 10th Wave has his AAV tech. Meanwhile, Tren has rail tech and double production cruiser. Assault rails are coming out and moving across the map, so he's going to have to be careful about this.
Enemy contacts on the board. Coordinates confirmed.
Could cost him dearly if he's not careful. What's his response right now? He is getting rail fab, so as long as he can get that up and get some rails on this ridgeline before they get to about here, which I don't think is going to be possible. He needs to delay these assault rails as much as he can, or he's going to be in serious trouble.
On our way. We're moving.
So, what's the plan, 10th? You've got the answer on the way, but you need it now.
Carrier copy.
In the meantime, he's got a significant RU float.
New heading set.
And they're just pushing straight in.
Salvager destroyed. Reading.
Tren is not messing around at all here. He's taken that high ground
Alert. Sensor post lost.
and seems to just be sniping the salvagers for now.
Move order confirmed.
So,
Attention.
10th has powered his carrier.
Be advised.
So, those missiles are going to rain in and do some nasty damage. He really needs to drop that production and say get power 1, get the range up so he can try and push these off.
This is the captain. On our way.
Just, it makes such a huge difference. Although he's got this 2 weapons, it's just not effective unless you've got range to do anything with it. In the meantime, the assault rails are just
Gun is taking effective fire.
doing immense damage, and 10th is hemorrhaging railguns.
Down. Designated. Move out.
Meanwhile, what has got...
It's a straight shot. Go.
Yeah, and Tren has heavy rails on the production queue now, so even if these assault rails aren't able to clean up, those heavy rails will.
Carrier is taking fire. Push your
No, I think that's it. 10th is still continuing to gather artifacts, but
carrier hull passing 75%.
Weapon range systems currently active.
yeah, this is just a brutal rail rush.
Enemy destroyed. All
Caught 10th out entirely. You either need to get the railgun research going sooner or get more power into that carrier to try and give himself some breathing room, but with no eco left, it is pretty much over.
carrier below 25% integrity.
Yeah.
Artifact recovered. Authentication confirmed.
And we have a brutal and incredibly short game 1.
All ships fall back.
Oh my. Yeah, no prisoners were taken there. Good grief. Yeah, just devastation. And that brings us on to game 2. That was short. Well, anyone who was looking for long semis, let's see though. Again, hopefully 10th will adapt to that. Again, Shallow's much more favourable defensively, and a lot more options to open economically, which should give 10th plenty of breathing room. We'll see. So, we have 10th Wave in the south, white and blue carrier,
Multiple artifact signals have been detected.
and in the north, showing he's not a complete scrub, is Tren in his red and yellow Kniff. Now then, kicking off, we have 10th moving out with his base runner. Light assault vehicles getting researched quickly. Meanwhile, we have base runner moving out here, and I suspect we are just going to see... Yeah, again, trying to produce as many salvages as he can, as quickly as he can, and take those outer wrecks, as seems to be the case on this map for Tren.
Salvager online.
Send your message. Proceed to our site.
Base runner not moving out.
Attack vehicle in service.
LED's coming out.
Proceed to rally point. Secure location
What else
marked.
have we got here?
Light attack vehicle online.
It still hasn't got saturation on the RUs. He's only got one.
Light attack vehicle in
Now he has none. Is this a misclick?
Send orders.
Yeah, serious misclick there. That's unfortunate. If you do need to to shift military units quickly, F2, select all military, and then you can give the appropriate orders. And if you just want to find any idle salvages, you're best with F3. Doing a drag select and accidentally moving salvages off is never the best move. Meanwhile, we can see here, drone got shot down trying to come in and scout, and we have Trend mining all the CUs. Does he? Yeah, no, he's got 2 on RUs at the back there, but all these outer ones seem to be for CUs. Just trying to maximise the income. Meanwhile, we have a base. What am I saying? We have a base runner in the middle with a blast drone. Turret coming down from 10th. So he just wants to make sure that blast drone doesn't go anywhere and cause any havoc. Meanwhile, it looks like Trent just trying to secure his base runner, just trying to dissuade those LAVs from coming in. Just wants to make sure it's safe for the base runner. Get an easy pickup. That leaves him with another easy pickup on this artifact at the back as well. Now, is 10th going to make a move at all? Keep in mind, these blast drones don't have much vision, so at most they can probably only see that, maybe the base runner? Yeah, it looks like 10th wants to move in and find out what's going on, possibly punish. Blast drones, meanwhile, walking straight into that turret post and cleans up both of them nicely. So that's that 250 investment just netted him 300 CU in kills, and it's still there. Meanwhile, 10th getting in position. Looks like he wants to harass. Trend, meanwhile, has got assault ships, and they are producing now. First one is now out, so I'm not sure if it would be worth risking trying to take it. It is an unupgraded assault ship, but it is getting a bit of bonus speed off the PC. Ooh. That LE needs to back off. Meanwhile, at the back, Trent has his first pickup, and 10th has his. Yep. 10th going for a bit more macro. He's got a lot more room to work with this game. Support cruiser is out, and he's moving out to try and maximise his ability to harvest off these 2 wrecks. But that does put him quite a ways behind. Meanwhile, Trent has been harvesting on both of these wrecks for some time now. Maybe not quite as efficiently as, but no, this is also up, and that must be refinery. Yep, and refinery is in place. Meanwhile, we're still seeing blast drones come out. What kind of bank do we have? Trent is sat on a quite substantial bank of CUs, so yeah, he's going to continue producing blast drones quite happily, I'm sure. Turret post comes out, but it's blocked by this hill. Yeah, not surprised. It's quite an obnoxious little hill just off. Always best to do a V-move check to see what the terrain's like and try and find the best spots. If the turret had been on there, it might have been far more effective, but I'm pretty sure the assault ships would have denied it there during its 2-second deployment. Blast drone seems like it came around the back to look for an opportunity. Or is he... No, he's just scouting that extra wreck to make sure that 10th isn't trying to expand to it. Meanwhile, we have railguns out from 10th wave, production, and more rails behind that. Another pickup for Tren. He again has plenty of resources to work with. Getting another production cruiser, which makes sense, and interceptors are up. What do we have meanwhile? We have no AA tech. And he doesn't have enough to afford an AA battery. He can do now though. Are we going to see an AA turret? Meanwhile, that turret post gets sniped by the interceptors. Now they put some damage on the rails. Oof. Yeah, these assault ships are just ranging out and cleaning up the LAVs while the interceptors are... Did they get one? And they got a rail. They're still up, doing damage too. Oof, that is very low. Also, do keep in mind, there's the AA turret now. If a base runner does get a kill, it immediately grabs a 10% speed bonus, which can be incredibly useful.
Coordinates confirmed.
Meanwhile, rails moving up. Very risky though, as we've seen. Assault ships can be very deadly and close.
Energy signature confirmed. An
Ooh,
artifact
gets away with 3 HP.
Reading. Move confirmed.
Hostile forces are attempting to
There
extract the
is
artifact.
a blast drone though,
Artifact
and
position
these are
locked in. Secure it.
oof,
Alert. Railgun.
very nasty.
Missile battery fabrication systems now online. We have insufficient CU.
Yeah, Coalition railguns do not have the accuracy of Soban ones, so
Green.
not able to defend themselves against that kind of
Be advised. Team en route to recover the
shenanigans.
artifact. Construction resources exhausted.
Again, these interceptors ranging out.
Carrier copies.
Missile batteries are on the way, and he's building 3. 2 are about to pop out, so... And he's got the AA turret there, so he's got plenty of means by which to fend off these interceptors now. But they're coming for that base runner, and I suspect they're going to get it. Are they going to be punished, though? 1 hit, yep, 1 down,
Clear to proceed.
but the other 2 do get away, and they deny that artifact. And this is going to put Tren up to 3 artifacts, putting him well ahead.
Missile battery
But again,
online.
with 3 missile batteries up, I suspect that interceptors are going to become a very difficult option to maintain.
All systems green. We're clear to proceed.
These railguns do need some
Assault online.
healing though. That is
Acknowledged.
3 HP and 55 HP.
Hostile forces have recovered an
Um,
artifact.
Secure vehicle.
Wouldn't exactly have called that worth the risk at that point. I'd send those 2 back to the support cruiser here to get some healing. Meanwhile, it looks like Tren is transitioning into skimmers. They've already got the speed upgrade, so...
Set on railgun.
And they will be coming out of nowhere.
Railgun copies. Armor online.
10th has no idea those are coming.
Board is green.
But we shall see. What are we seeing upgrades wise? So the Kneff carrier now using that power is actually boosting up to power level 3 on the mobility system, so any units that are near these production cruisers are much faster.
Trackers assigned.
We then have a probe coming in to try and find out what's going on, so
Support vehicle.
I would have said that might have scouted the skimmers, but they've immediately pulled back and tried to stay out of range, and the base runner has then
Now operational.
denied the scouting.
Fleet capacity
Now,
deployable
what's more rails coming out now? That said, he does have missile batteries. I was going to say it's very risky going this heavy on rails when there's skimmers, but that said, 10th has no idea there are skimmers out there. But he does have 2 missile batteries, and yes, they're coming this way. So they're coming to cover the artifact, and meanwhile, someone's trying to deny that artifact. Oh dear.
New coordinates verified.
What we'll see, it really does come down to 10th effectively using those missile batteries here.
Enemy light vehicle marked on approach.
He's going to need to land 2 good shots.
Hostiles designated.
How upgraded are these now? Speed, both armor upgrades, and 1 damage.
Alert. Railgun down. Armor vehicle taking effective fire.
And that's the dead rails. What's up? Battery mortars? Mortars, come on. Come on, you gotta get those mortar shots out.
Coordinates confirmed.
No mortar shots. I don't know, maybe
failure people. Hostile forces have recovered an
10th was
artifact.
just too busy elsewhere? But that's just devastating. That's completely wiped his flank, and he's still got all of these to deal with.
Ready. Set. Move order confirmed.
Has got a fair amount of power though on his carrier, and he's pumping out AAVs to try and counter this skimmer rush.
Eyes on to authenticate.
Carrier
Yeah,
repair
they're backing off. They don't want to fight
Reading for orders.
AAVs and those kind of numbers. That being said, there's another AAV here, but they are just chewing through it. Again, 17 damage against, what is that, 13 armor? And height bonus there, so yeah.
Armored vehicle.
They clear that up and move off, and it looks like Tren is planning on opening up this wreck, which will give him serious eco advantage. What kind of...
New heading set.
An artifact has been
Okay, if you need more, you should probably focus on spending it.
A
So
railgun
this
taking
is
effective fire.
looking quite bad. It's
Reading.
10th is well behind economically, His rails are not going to serve him very well against all these skimmers. And meanwhile, Tren is sat on 4 artifacts and he has just picked up his 5th. So he is going to need to make a move to try and block that. But in the meantime, he's losing these railguns at quite a pace. What are the upgrades? Those are now maxed out skimmers. And they are wreaking absolute havoc. So railguns are having a really tough time. Tenth does clean up the assault ships, and he does have a substantial blob of AAVs here, but they need to be blocking this. Meanwhile, interceptor wave comes in. No missile batteries to cover over here. Are they going to be able to... Yeah, they're going to block that artifact drop at least, so buying 10th some time to get back in this fight. Buy time for his AVs to start clearing up these skimmers and hopefully figure out a way of countering these. Oh, yeah, the missile battery is on them. They've overextended a bit. One goes down.
Hostile interceptor down. Armor vehicle taking effective fire.
Only one interceptor goes down there.
Firm visual. We're moving out.
Meanwhile, what have we got coming out?
Armored assault operational.
More armoured assaults, tech-wise. He has teched into air, so he does seem to be looking for an opportunity to switch into strike fighters, but with that many interceptors, there's still 4. And they would be able to decimate. Even if he were to get, say, 9 strike fighters, it still would not be a good matchup for him. Meantime, ooh, that's terrible blob. If that water had gone down there, this blob would be on the verge of death. Mortar strikes, man. You know you've got them. You wrecked Magia's LAB blob with it. Meanwhile, starting to pick through this skimmer blob and get it under control, which is good. However, there's now assault rails back here covering the carrier. What is... Tren is still floating a massive amount of CUs. No RUs, but just... Is he... What the hell? Ah, of course, that's for... Yeah, ignore that. That's for 10th. AV's trying to move in and do some damage, but they do manage to take out the RU salvages, though, which at least prevents... Ooh, and there's a AAV pickup, so if 10th can focus on map control, maybe getting this shut down and just getting these artifacts as quickly as possible, we might be able to get back in this. In the meantime, got quite a lot of power. He's up to power level 4. If he backs off, yeah, he can go for power 5. So just stop investing in this. Back off. Power 5, cruise missile, which would be more than enough to get him back in this game. But he does need to... That's so. Can he win this fight? Yeah, it looks like he's just tearing all of this up. He's got enough firepower. Armor's up to 40, so these assault rails aren't particularly effective. Heavy rails are coming out, but he's got the firepower to kill those as they come in. Has he got this? Still those interceptors up, which are taking out all of his rails, and it is a Kanefi carrier which now has 4 power in missiles. So this is an incredibly risky fight. He needs to get under that carrier and sit there if he wants to win this fight. But yeah, he's just punched through, cleared everything out of his path with the carrier, but he's taking immense damage from the carrier. He needs to back off. Come on, just need to back out, get things back under control, and punish. Come on. Is it going to be too little, too late?
Weapon range systems currently active. Be advised.
Come on.
Systems online.
Those Knef missiles are so punishing. It's almost impossible to dodge them with the carrier. I would almost have said he would have been better off just getting under the carrier rather than trying to back off here. No, that's it.
Vehicle has lost possession of an artifact.
Tren's float is disgusting. 5k, what the... Good grief, just... Yeah, Knef carrier, those missiles hurt. Yeah, you either want to get under the Knef carrier and prevent it doing its damage, or you want to back off, but yeah, Tren with a significant economic lead, although massively behind in RUs. I suppose it's just a case of 10th sniping so many of the RU harvesters, which really made the difference there. It's possible that Tren was once again idling harvesters. You know, he's known to do it, so something to be aware of. But does that? Yeah, and that gives us 2-0 to Tren in that set. Good grief. So rail rush, and then that carrier snipe. Looked like 10th could have taken that. Really could have taken that. So we shall move on to Azure versus Ian. My oh my. So Azure with his aggressive carrier style against Ian. Sure, Ian was there with... Well, yeah, he's got to have had some of the other developers there supporting him. So, Ian immediately going for 2 RUs, 2 CUs. And same from Azure. So yeah, Azure in his yellow and black Galcian carrier against Ian in his purple and yellow carrier in the north. And we're at the wonderful map of Kalash Teeth, which is suddenly popular again. Like this map seriously fell out of favour, which was pretty much entirely because A game dominated this map so much it became auto-banned for everyone. Seems to have popped back up in regular cycle. People getting confident with their aggressive game and dealing with AAV and assault ship rushes, clearly. Now, we have Azure opening with his skimmers. Now, is that quite the right place to put it? I am worried that... No. Placement is good. Absolutely no disruption to mining, and it is absolutely as close to the next wreck as it could possibly be. Very good positioning on that coalition carrier. Now then. Meanwhile, Azure opening up his first wreck and getting CUs coming in. Galcian base runner just sat here with a scanner there, so just looking out for any backstabs that come around this backside here. Probably worried about an AV rush. Now, is there any sign? Ian has quite a float. Just spent it. Would that have been a rail rush? Considering there was 240, so he must be rushing rails or possibly air. Have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, we have Azure taking the railgun tech. First engagement of the match looks to be an LAV scouting here and finding the base runner. It looks like Azure is confident he can probably take that, even with the LAV harass. So just grab that artifact, I suspect. There it is, and then he'll get that. Meanwhile, Ian is in place to grab his. There it is. Again, seeing a lot of... What the... Get off. Seeing a lot of float from Ian at the moment, so what is he going for? Meanwhile is... Yeah, that base runner should make it no problem, and meanwhile Ian is unharassed. No sign of any of the text. There it is. Was a fast air tech from Ian. That's incredibly risky in this matchup. Due to the production cruiser AA, if the Galcian player goes aggressive, there's simply no way to defend, especially on a cramped map like this. It's too easy for those to get on to the carrier and just deny any kind of air. But seems to be safe at the moment. He's just got to make sure he maintains his ground pressure, which with this many LAVs he definitely seems to be doing. Looks like he's going to pick up that base runner kill before it can grab another artifact. In the meantime, the assault rail is going after his base runner, so let's see whether the LAVs are able to get over there and save it or not. He might not be willing to risk it though. Assault rails are quite painful. Are they upgraded? They have got armor 1, so that's going to seriously diminish. But air comes in. So this fast air is completely unexpected for Azure. And down that one goes. This is very difficult because suddenly you've only got one production cruiser which is not in an aggressive place. So these strike fighters currently have run of the entire map. Oh no, they overextend over the top of that production cruiser. Incredibly unsafe. Both of them get shot down. I mean, that was a terrible misplay there. No, whenever you're going to come in blind, you always want to sweep out of range first to check for that AA. It's just so much safer to take a missile and miss the opportunity of a run than to dive in and lose your entire wing. In the meantime, Azure, quite the CU float. He is getting through it though. Looks like, yep, another production cruiser coming out there. Meanwhile, Ian obviously tapping into all of his resources right now to maintain LAVs and air. Let's have a look at production. Missile ships are on the way in, looking to expand his economy. Only one strike fighter left. So again, that overextend with the strike fighters seriously cost him. If they had gone anywhere else on the map, they would have been fine, but they just happened to fly over that production cruiser and get utterly annihilated. Production assault rails shutting down that base runner. LAV's getting on top of them. I don't know if that's going to be enough. No upgrades on these LAVs, but they are getting through that small health pool quite quickly. Just needs to focus fire. One assault rail goes down. Missile ship there, not quite able to connect with its barrage. And yep, that LAV gets away with 2 veterancy. Now, that 2 veterancy is giving it plus 20% to its sensors and plus 1 armor, so that guy is able to see pretty much everything there. So, not to be sniffed at. The longer that's alive and providing scouting, the harder it is for Azure to do anything sneaky. In the meantime, another base runner coming out from Ian. He really wants those artifacts. Currently set with 3 power on his carrier, 1 from default and then 2 more from that pickup. Maybe he's coming down here. Now they must be aware of this. Surely they're going to get it. Such an easy pickup. No? Looks like things have stabilised. Azure is focused very much on the assault rails. Meanwhile, Ian has indeed switched into rail guns, so he wants to shut down the ARs as quickly as possible without risking his air. So he's going to need to find some good positions though, because there's a lot of terrain that assault rails can work with on this map. They've got dunes here to come up over and hit, so another pickup. Now if Ian is able to get these into a good position and lure over these assault rails, he'll be able to easily mop those up. But Azure has full... Does he have full saturation yet? No, he's only got 1 on each of these. But he's now in a position to get his carrier mobilised and fully armed, so... Too many bold guys playing on Clash. Now, they've come forwards, but... Yep, picks up 1... Does he still get the... He still gets the pickup. It's a shame. If these had been a little bit further forward, they would easily... Oof. That's... yeah, that's pretty nasty. Just barely lost that assault rail. So, putting Azure into a very risky position. He's starting to get upgrades. He's got the damage. He's got the first level of armor. AV going up to cover his new expansion. Is he building... He isn't building the support cruiser yet, so he's just going to open this up. No, he's already opened it up and he's harvesting from it, so he's probably just been long distance mining from it for a bit. And he's just ready to expand to it now. In the meantime, Azure hasn't started putting power into power reserve yet, so... I should say resources into power reserve, but... Yeah, with this line here, it's just a solid position. It's just about high enough that anything that's in the lower sections of this valley or canyon will give high ground bonus. So pushing around here is extremely dangerous. He's got no way of covering the carrier, and with only 3 power, it's sitting duck to these rails. That said, there is a scum blob. Not a small one either. Do they have any upgrades? They have speed, and there are 10 of them. So, not to be sniffed at all. There are 2 AAVs. Looks like they're going around for a backstab. They're not. Of course, Azure still isn't aware. Oh wait, of course he is. He lost assault rails to it. Yeah, that additional view range coming into place there. He can see these. From mid, he can see there, which is just ridiculous. Oh, Skimmer's coming in. But 2 AAVs, he's not willing to risk it. Did he have armor upgrades? No armor upgrades, so again, those AAVs would quite quickly start gutting those skimmers and clearing them out. What do we have coming out from Azure in the meantime? We have HGC. Ho, 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 ho. And this is quite... they're quite bundled up, so good HGC shot or 2 is going to do a lot of damage. And I'm guessing there's no HP. There is. And what is that? That's level 2. So that's enough that even if the HGC gets the high ground, they are not at risk of immediate demise, but it still combos very well with the heavy rails, which there are now 4 of. Also 3 assault rails there, but... oof! Poof goes the heavy rails. Skimmers tried to make a play there, but not willing to risk it. Meanwhile, HGC getting in position to drop the splat. Poorly aimed though, hits the AAV and not the best target. He really wants it in the back on these rail guns. It's going to be quite an ugly fight. This is definitely not the best way to have engaged here. He wants to really be out here, not coming out cresting this. That said, he is cleaning those skimmers up for all these AAVs now. He's got 7 of them. And skimmers are still being produced in large numbers. This is extremely risky though. How many rails is that? 5 rails there. V move or just a regular move to spread those out would be great. Do keep in mind, move orders do not cancel attack orders. So is that going to be it for Azure? Is he caught here? Certainly looking like it. That is a hell of a lot of damage. This army needs to move up and cover that carrier. You can't just play it like it's cool. Come on, Azure, you need to move the HGC around here. Oh my god, did airstrikes coming in. But it looks like Ian accidentally smoked his own advance. Gave the perfect barrier for the carrier to get away. Yeah. Just... oh, no. Are they still able to hit it? No, no, no. Oh my goodness. And now the skimmers come in around the back. Almost, yeah, all of the AAVs are gone. That was incredibly close. That was 3 shots maybe. Maybe less than that to kill. But now it looks like, yeah, overinvestment in rails suddenly. He is trying to get more air, but he needs some AAVs to cover this army now. Otherwise it's all going to be decimated by skimmers, which only have speed. They do not have damage. They do not have defense, but Ian is also sat on 3 power. So he's got a substantial amount of firepower in this carrier of his. So yeah, that prevents him from pushing in any further, but Ian lost the majority of his army there. But yeah, simply his own doing. He overdid it with the smoke to try and make sure he didn't get shot at, and just barely managed to give Azure the window he needed to escape. Alternatively, he could have shifted over to here, but again, trying to get in place here, but he would have risked the wrath of the HGC, to be honest. Micro cruisers are incredibly effective if they're able to put fire onto a blob of railguns. But right now it does feel like Ian's biggest weakness is not spreading out his units properly, and it's allowing Azure to get a hell of a lot of value. Assault rails caught out in the open, one shot each, doesn't take out, does manage to grab one. He's now vulnerable to the skimmers, which are still largely unupgraded. Ooh. Okay, now that's scary.
Artifact extraction team en route. Destination locked in.
Skimmers again eating away at these railguns. Might want to look at grabbing the armor level 3. A fair bit more durability there. But in the meantime, Azure is pushing up and trying to secure these artifact zones. Doesn't want Ian grabbing any more. Air going to work, but 2 missile ships there is going to shut that down quite quickly. In with that, there's another 7 still in the hangar there. Oh no. Walking right out into 5 heavy rails. Has he got any support there? Oh, power 5. Wait, what am I talking about? This is yours. Getting confused. I know what I'm doing, right? So yeah, looks like Ian is running off pretty much just the base power, while Azure is essentially power level 5, plus an artifact, heavy rails, trying to extract that exposed carrier, exposed rails, and that is Ian's army gone. And Azure is going for power 5, which is going to give him the sonic missile barrage. Going from almost dead to full health. Yeah. If he can focus down that missile ship, which it looks like he's gonna, and without losing any strike fighters due to the spreading the damage, so there's no longer any AA. Don't know how much longer that's going to be the case though, and Base Runner is going to be able to do enough damage to actually take him down as well, so he's going to need to be careful with the low health ones. It looks like, yeah, the carrier is just healing through the damage of the strike fighters. Another wave of railguns coming out though. Power level 5 is done. Azure does have access to the missiles. Meanwhile, backlines are exposed on Ian, so this is just going bad from bad to worse. Siege Cruiser comes out not in the best position. And there's the missiles. And again cleaning up Ian's forces. I think that's pretty much it. Azure's gotten so much value out of the investment in his carrier at this point. I don't think Ian can come back. Yeah, he realises it, and it's he's just going to go out in a blaze of glory. Very close though. Very close. Now, when you get a carrier that low, you've got it all in, and you've got to do it wisely, because just put himself in such a dangerous position. The rails were there to finish it though. He just wasn't willing to follow through. And it was all downhill from there. Very unfortunate, but very close. So we shall move on to game 2. Yeah, Azure netting a very solid lead in the economic game and dominating in the combat as well. So we move on to Torring Crater. Oh dear. But these two seem to be quite closely matched. The biggest criticism I have for Ian is just he does not space his units. He does not. All he needs to do is issue basic command orders, but he's treating it as though it will cancel his attack orders. And it's costing him in fights. It's allowing his opponent to out-micro him and gain the upper hand. So, we'll see if it improves. In the meantime, we have Ian in the south, in purple and yellow, as Coalition. And in the north, we have Azure as Galcian. He's yellow and black. Focusing on CUs out the gate rather than RUs as we saw last time, and same for Ian. So neither of them looking at any kind of tech-oriented rushes. Looking more to get their ecos up and maybe focus more on some lower tech units. We'll see how that pans out for them. But my apologies for getting the carrier techs mixed up. I thought for a moment that Ian was at power level 4 with the economy to get power 5 because I had his carrier selected. Doesn't work that way. Oh well. We wish it worked that way. The thing about the micro is that all it would require is for Ian to give a move order right next to his units. Then they would automatically space out. And it wouldn't cancel any dedicated attack orders, or any attack orders for that matter. So there'd be no loss. It would just make him harder to kill. Now, is he perfectly positioned again? Need to see this. Perfect positioning. Perfect positioning. Very nice. I am thoroughly impressed. Ian's macro game is on point. I will say that much. He's got the positioning of the carrier just right, so he's not disrupting any mining here, while being as close as possible to this, and perfectly so. Like, I don't think you could be any further and still get. Like, you couldn't be any further out without disrupting the mining over here. Meanwhile, it looks like Azure is going for an incredibly risky skimmer rush. If AV tech is coming, so he is going to have a very small window to take advantage of this. And if it fails, he's got 2 LAVs in here, disrupting his economy. And very little means to actually deal with it. If they just sit there, they're going to stop him from going out and getting from his expansion. So it really comes down to how much damage Azure can do before the AAVs. Oh, that's quite the flow, Ian. You're really good at making the money, you're not so good at spending it. There we go, 2 AAVs drop. Production? Or carrier power, either way. It can give you a bit more oomph. I think he's just focused on cleaning up this attack. He doesn't want to be producing other things and diluting his forces. So yeah, immediately got an AV. Skimmers are backing off. Production cruisers are backing off, and he still hasn't taken the expansion. This is an incredibly bad start for Azure. And kind of the reason I would never recommend opening with skimmers. I believe there is room for them to work very well in the mid-game, as you've seen in a couple where you transition into skimmers later on, when you can afford to get the upgrades without risking your entire economy because you have no counters. In the meantime, yeah, so Ian is set up to expand. Is he investing in expanding? Yep, there is the support cruiser as well. He is going to lose the base runner, but he has picked up an artifact anyway. What is coming out of these 2 production cruisers? There's still an LAV there. Yeah, he's coming back with the LAV blob. What was the skimmer blob to deal with that LAV back there. In the meantime, the LAV shouldn't be able to do much. But these AAVs are going to be a serious problem. Azure doesn't have any tech at the moment, He does not have rails, he does not have assault ships. That is a very serious problem when you have 2 AAVs on their way to your base. Meanwhile, support crews are going out to secure those resources. 2 more salvagers, so he's trying to get saturation up there as quickly as possible. What are the resource pools looking like at the moment? We've got Ian with a substantial RU float, which is understandable considering he's just invested in 2 base runners, so is he looking to just cap out? Quite possible. He doesn't want to deal with that carrier, I suspect. He just wants to get the edge. Meanwhile, there are 2 AAVs here. They have got armor 1, so it's going to be quite difficult for Sandskimmers to deal with them. But he does have the assault ship tech now, which, as you can see, has popped up on the carrier. If these were to go up to armor 2, again, armor 1 has come down for the assault ships, and now there's now 2 of them. Azure needs to back off this assault ship and let it heal, otherwise he risks losing it unnecessarily. In the meantime, he has gotten 2 armor levels for his skimmers, so significantly reduced the damage output on those AAVs. And here come those base runners, so Ian is distinctly looking to just... He doesn't want to be in a position where he has to fight that carrier, I think. He's had enough of dealing with like a carrier which can walk off and just heal up, and he goes from being on the verge of victory to back where he started, essentially. So I think he's just going to try and grab the artifacts, and yes, these AAVs, just so much value at the moment right now. They've just delayed economic growth along with the LAV harass earlier. And they're just keeping Azure busy, preventing any kind of harass back here, which means that in the meantime Ian is just getting a massive advantage. But he does need to see about tapping into this RU pool. What is he doing? He's again. It does make sense. He wants to get saturation. He wants to maximise how much he's getting in. But with that kind of RU flow, I'd almost be of the opinion he should start just getting power. Get his carrier up, get it to the point where his carrier is just so much more powerful it can just strong arm through a Galcian army. In the meantime, again, poor spacing means that these assault ships are able to get double hits, but they don't want to take on that railgun. Exposed railgun here. Level 2 armor is up. And that's going to be another pickup. I don't think Azure is going to try and contest either of them at this point. Azure's managed to get a good amount of CUs, and I suspect is indeed mining. Now with... Oh, so we've got the assault ship and rail tech now. Fair enough, so he's looking at transitioning into rails. Just wanted the assault ships to kind of get control again. Doesn't feel comfortable going into air or siege by the looks of things. So we have 2 heavy rails coming out. Not a build I'm particularly comfortable with. I know that it can work very well, as they are both quite powerful units and do synergize very well. But the problem is the amount you need to invest to be able to have armoured railguns and armoured assault ships makes it incredibly restrictive. Meanwhile, we have more railguns coming out from Ian. He has got missile batteries because at this point he suspects there will be an air transition, which does make sense considering all he has seen is skimmers and assault ships. I suspect he might change his mind quite quickly there when he sees the heavy railguns though. And that will be the 3rd pickup for Ian, and he is going for another one. That's going to put Ian on 4 artifacts right off the bat. So he's got 6 additional power just sat on his carrier at the moment. There are 4 assault ships coming in, so these can do a lot of damage and could really set back his economy if they can get in. And there is nothing sat here otherwise. It is all on this carrier to hold. He is starting to invest power in the carrier now, which is a good choice in my opinion. He's got so much RU. Unless he goes into air, his best bet at using it effectively is in power reserves. Alternatively in getting the mag accelerator, but I don't think he feels that's quite as necessary because he's just dealing with these skimmers over here at the moment. Now he's just gotten the ping on the enemies here. Okay, sick flips, man. Sick flips. I am impressed. It is good to see a talented assault ship pilot. Oh, and there's another one. See, these are Azure's elite. Okay, these guys know what they're doing. They know how to do sick flips into combat. They do just no messing about, you know. Completely shuts down main. There are rails here, but they're in point blank range, so they're going to suffer some pretty nasty damage, especially against the vetted assault ships. Which they're going to take one down with them. No, they've lost line of sight. But again, good economic damage off those. So again, Azure has stabilized. He's panicked a bit and taken all of the mining off here, when in fact, yeah, Ian's pulled back across the map, so he had a bit of room to work with. But again, it would require being omniscient and being able to tell that your opponent's going to divert all military force. But yeah, that did look pretty bad. He has, however, remanned the entire thing instantly. Again, there's no denying, like, Ian's macro is on point. He's up to power reserve 2 now. He's got a substantial amount. Now, what is... Oh, good God. He's already sat on 4 artifacts with the 5th. He's just coming out now to just escort it in with his carrier. Azure realises he's moving out with the heavy rails now. Skimmers are moving too. The carrier is getting mobile, but again, it's just power 1. Meanwhile, Ian is going for that power level 3, so this could get ugly. And if Ian's on point with these missile batteries, he might be able to wipe out most of these. No? Yes, 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 yes. Oh wow. Rip. Oh, glorious. Lovely. Excellent. 10 out of 10, Ian. Love it. But, goddamn, the blobbing. The blobbing. Together, brothers, we must hug. Close formation. Right, these are not... This is not... Wait, should I... Yeah. This is not generals, these are not dragon tanks. They don't gain a bonus by being close together. Spread out. GG. Oh wait, did the... the skimmers still managed to get the BR. They did deny the cap. He's having to try again, so yeah, the skimmers weren't a complete loss. Or was it the heavy rails that sniped that out? Must be. Could have sworn it got them past there. So yeah. For a little bit of time. Meanwhile, see, Azure, king of sick flips. That's how you turn a Gaussian carrier in an emergency. Okay. Oh, good thing it doesn't allow the missile batteries to target it, eh? Be embarrassing. But yeah, Azure has managed to buy himself a little bit more time, and he's got another blob of skimmers, so he can move in and again deny the cap, which is pretty much everything he's got to do at the moment is just deny the cap. But power 4 for Ian on this carrier. Ian has adapted. He has learnt and is determined to punish Azure for his carrier abusing ways. with a carrier.
Holding. Deploy a turret on that location. New sector designated. Hostile strike craft.
Yeah, Ian already has power 4, while, what's that, I think Azure has just hit power 3. Add on to that 8 additional power from artifacts. This carrier is nightmarishly powerful at the moment. Meanwhile, air is being used to just clean up these skimmers in the back. There's AV covering this one as well, so just no real opportunities for those skimmers right now. Base runner is still up and it's being repaired. However, it has created an opening for Azure to move in and occupy the extraction zone. How is this? Right, so at the moment, Azure is basically using his carrier for spotting while gathering up as many heavy rails as possible. However, he has been spotted, there are rails, and they are starting to pick away at his carrier.
Ready with hostile detection. Visual unconfirmed. Launch smoke. Hostile railguns have opened up. Alert. Hostile breach through your sight.
Artillery, any kind of AoE here, just blow up the entire army.
Alert. Railgun.
That move was fortuitous, but yeah,
Anything that moves out there.
ow.
Head full. Gauge on sight. Stand by for launch authentication.
Power 5 is up. Cruise missile is up. Where is it going? Oh no. No survivors. There were no survivors. So that reduces Azure to a siege and a heavy rail. There is also a missile ship there, but I think it's safe to say Ian has the option of either murdering this carrier or collecting an artifact, and I think he's just going to go for both. Missile ship goes down. Well played, Ian. Again, I'd like to see some better spacing on the units, a little bit more unit micro, but your macro is very solid, and yeah, you know how to stick to a game plan. But a little bit of work on the micro, and you are very, very scary. And that brings us to 1-1, I believe. So, the ace match, the decider, on the Boneyard. Oh my. Just, yeah. Goddamn. Definitely the most balanced, other than the first, the round of 16, which was quite frankly Azure just kind of stretching and getting back into DOK, I think. Just mucking about. The rest of these have been quite close. There have definitely been the opportunities for either player to win and come out top. But, damn. So, here we are, on the Boneyard. In the south, we have Azure in his yellow and black Galcian carrier. And in the north, we have Ian from BBI, showing that people at BBI know how to play their game in his purple and yellow coalition carrier. So, yeah. Hoo boy. So, what do we have here? We have, starting out, 2 on CU, 2 on RUs, and then 2 more on 2 CUs, and then he is immediately trying to expand out to here. Meanwhile, same again, 2 on RUs, 2 on CUs, and then he has built additional ones to max out. So, interesting. Oh, 1 second. There's only 5. He's 1 short. Does he realise? Yes, he does. Okay, there, he maxes it out. And we're going for the wreck. Okay. It's perfectly fine, and it looks like Azure is going aggressive. Is there anything in production? Is he going for skimmer rush again, or is he just opening with a few... No, railgun rush. Okay. Definitely for the best, considering Ian has AAV rushed. So
Right attack vehicle rendering complete. Course
Ian hasn't positioned his carrier for this one. He's decided to be lazy. He's of the opinion he needs to focus on other things, and that his carrier positioning is not tantamount. Azure has not bothered it either. So I think they did do a devs face-off, but there's one particular guy in their offices that Ian insists is just the best and dominates everybody else. Can't remember what the name was.
Hostile craft detected. Prosecute. Hostile base runner detected.
Acknowledge.
One awesome piece of information I did get from Ian, though, was that Torrin Crater is actually named after one of the BBI devs by the name of Eric. So don't know if his name's Eric Torrin or if it's a nickname that he goes by Torrin. So.
Enemy armor inbound.
But yeah, awesome little fact to pick up because Ian's awesome.
Sound skimmer advancing. Coordinates verified.
So for those of you joining us late, we have a 1-to-1 ace match between Azure and Ian from BBI. And Ian at the moment is rushing a load of AAVs across the map, which is scary. He's also extracting an artifact, and Azure in the meantime has in fact gone rails, so may be able to thwart this if he intercepts. If he does not, he is going to be in serious trouble. He's just seen the AAVs. Assault Rail's still heading north though. I think he's still determined to go and engage and deny that artifact. So he is instead sending one from down here. But this is really a huge factor. Huge difference in Galcian versus Knef. Galcian have this freebie scanner. Right? So right now is when a Knef player would have seen it. That is the first indication that Knef player would have had. Meanwhile, Azure instead knew about it up here. So very important to keep in mind. Not that it seems to be helping. There's one heavy rail here, which is picking away at these quite quickly, but they're eating through that salvager line much quicker. That's going to 3-4 salvagers down so far. There's still 2 AAVs up, and he has smoked. He has, however, accidentally smoked the salvagers as well, so that's going to slow down killing them off. Meanwhile, Ian has got a turret post up here, and is going to get out with this artifact. Meanwhile, there is an assault rail which is just cleaning up this assault rail. And in the meantime, is that one going to go down? And is he going to drop anything off first? Yes, it drops off and lives. Who knew? So, but not to be deterred. Another AAV is on the way down, and it's possible he's going to sneak through.
Target position set. Salvager online.
Parachute turret identified. Sand skimmer taking fire.
Again,
A strike craft has been destroyed.
just stopped on the edge, so right now Azure doesn't know what that is,
Ready and waiting.
but he knows something is there. So he has already repositioned for it, so
Salvager construction.
I do fear the opportunity has already been lost.
Rally position marked. Coordinates verified.
My apology to everyone, I won't be able to keep track of chat for a bit. Unfortunately, my incredibly professional setup, yes, professional, has failed me. So
Salvager construction.
I will just have to read through at the end and enjoy your comments with the gameplay.
Course map.
Hostile armor destroyed.
Okay.
Awaiting deployment.
So Azure has stabilised, but he is definitely behind on eco, and in the meantime Ian has gone into rails. Has he teched anything else?
Salvager online.
That said, Azure is rushing the siege again.
Destination
I know, it just feels like at heart Azure is actually a Knef player. He just hasn't realised it yet. Yeah, one day. We'll see, we'll see.
Rally position.
But yeah, we have the AV tech, we have the rail tech. There is, however, no air tech as of yet, so
Secure it. Siege cruiser power.
Give it time though, I'm sure.
Carrier
Siege is
systems
online.
Capacity upgraded.
Has he got refinery? He does indeed have refinery, and he is getting his second production cruiser, so he'll be able to get his entire economy up and running. That said, Ian in the meantime is being very aggressive. He's not invested in fully saturating and building up his economy either, so both are on 2 base at the moment.
Awaiting deployment.
Ian is ahead with 1 artifact. Probes going out to scout, and there is no AA at the moment, so
ready for operation.
A is being teched. Azura's had enough of strike fighters coming in and wrecking his things, breaking his toys. And he has, of course, noted that Ian does like air, and that he likes having siege cruisers that are covered.
Production
So,
system rally point command rescinded.
Ready for
let's see,
operation.
in total we have 1 siege cruiser and 2 more salvagers. Yeah, he's just trying to get that eco fully ramped up. However, the tone might be quite poor. Looks like Ian is going to be dedicating to an assault.
Salvager online. Acknowledged.
Artifact pickup incoming.
Marked. Destination verified.
Base run is slightly damaged, but more than enough to get it home with a little bit of harassment. Scouts the expansion
Hostile railgun inbound.
Defense alert.
and moves in, and these assault rails are in some serious trouble.
Assault railgun destroyed. Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Ian at the moment has +1 armor, and he also has the mag accelerator upgrade.
For dispatch.
Meanwhile, he's up against 0 upgrades on Azure's rails, so
Acknowledged. Course set. Advance. Siege cruiser online. Course set.
but that saved RU has allowed Azure to rush siege, and that may be a crucial factor in this fight.
Light attack vehicle online. It's verified.
Yeah, no way those assault rails are going to get anywhere near that base runner, and I believe they are forfeit.
Relay command.
And that also means this investment in 3rd might be completely wasted if Ian moves in on it.
Light attack vehicle rendering
He's
complete.
only got 3 heavy rails, and that's not going to be enough to cover this. And he doesn't really have any good ground to hold it from unless he moves up and holds here. But again, that's incredibly risky.
Move and monitor scan.
Strike
Yeah, looks like
destroyed.
Azure being forced off.
Is in contact.
Siege is moving up, so the siege may be enough to thwart this attack, push it off entirely. It really does depend. Now, why did Ian suddenly back off?
Salvager destroyed.
Didn't need to cover this. He's got that all in hand. What did he see? It's possible he saw the... may have been a case that he caught the siege cruiser at the edge of his LAV view range. Yes, he's got +1, so he's got 100% sensors. So yes, he saw the siege cruiser and decided he didn't want any of that.
Rally position designated.
He didn't want to risk his army for that when he can cap.
Coordinates verified.
Again,
Light attack mode.
doesn't want to risk getting caught out by the siege. The siege have caught him out previously and done quite a lot of damage, but it didn't cost him the game last time. To be fair, he was quite lucky with the spread there. If 2 or 3 more shots had landed centrally on his forces there, it's quite possible Ian would have been crippled and forced to rely entirely on his carrier, which may still have been enough to be fair.
Grid mark set.
In the meantime, more sieges coming out.
Enemy base runner authenticated.
2 missile ships are up. Is there any sign of air from Ian?
Sand skipper taking fire.
Meanwhile, we have an engage here.
Railgun taking fire.
Again, as you're trying to deny these artifacts, but struggling to do so.
Strike
Siege coming out and firing. Is any of it going to hit home though? No, it's too far short by the looks of things. Shame. In the meantime,
Siege
there is no sign of any air tech here at the moment. So, for now, those missile ships are not really offering much. They do provide good vision though, so it may be worth,
Siege cruiser
as you're pushing them up slightly to get a little bit better vision, and maybe threaten the skimmers a bit more, or the LAVs a bit more. So we have 2 siege here. Siege barrage pushing off the initial LAV attempt, but they're swinging back in.
Forces have secured an artifact.
alert. Carrier is being attacked.
very little defense here. This siege cruiser is very open right now. Carrier's doing good work though. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Point blanks with the missile ship gets another 2 down. So just 2 left. I think he's safe. Pretty much annihilated the entire group. So, well held. However, in the meantime, Ian is up to 3 artifacts and climbing. Meanwhile, this carrier is sat on, let's see, it's got 6 power and 3 invested, so yeah. Ian has not spent on any of the power upgrades in the meantime. That said, Azure needs to start tapping into this RU bank he has. 835 and quite limited on the CUs. Let's have a look at resources across. Yeah. Azure definitely sat on the better bank, but that's because Ian still hasn't expanded. He's got the support cruiser for it, but he has not opened up third at all. I suspect it's where he could just sense I was talking about how good his macro is, and he needs to show me up by doing things differently and playing more micro-focused and flanks. Maybe. I don't agree with this. Sending 3 AAVs in by themselves, so you draw them down here, but you've got nothing to follow up. There's nothing to support this or punish any moves. I mean, if you want to get these 2 siege cruisers, I suppose it works wonderfully, but... That said, 13 armor, so the carrier guns aren't doing anything to these for now. Yeah, that's going to be another eco snipe from Ian. It seems like it's the key number. A lot of people like to just throw in 3 AVs and just punish. Are they going to get this production cruiser as well? That's the question. Smoke clears and rail fire comes down and shuts that down completely. So what's the plan here? You're moving in with the support cruiser. Okay, you want repairs, that's fine. But, no, it felt like you need to follow up with these AVs. What is there to protect the rails here? Again, that siege coming down, punishing this rather large blob of units, which still only have armor 1. Oh my goodness. Yes, they still only have 1 armor. The only ones which have more health than that are the veteran ones. This is extremely risky. If these manage to drop a good barrage on this, they're gone. They will wipe that entire group out. And it seems like Ian in the meantime is just so focused on... So focused on the artifacts. Probe goes down. He knows their siege is there, so he knows he's at risk, and... Oh my goodness. That's a hell of a lot of damage. If both those barrages have gone down at once, I don't think there would have been any time to react. But that has brutally diminished those railguns. They're either low health, a number of them are dead. These ones managed to get away mostly unscathed though, so... But, I think that might be it anyway. There is a backstab of assault ships over here, but the only part of this fight that matters right now, especially to Ian, is this part. Skimmer blob coming in, there's no cover. There is a battle cruiser, however, but I don't think that's going to be... that will not be able to shut down this skimmer push. So I suspect... yeah, he's going to just all in, get this this base runner.
Strike craft destroyed.
Oh, he's focusing the wrong part. He's focusing these rails. He needs to get rid of that base running. He can't have that be a factor here. If he loses track of it and it sneaks through, he's lost it. He might be relying on the fact that he has the heavy rails and the siege back here. He is dealing a hell of a lot of damage, but now nothing. He's going to be going through this really awkward terrain. I think he's getting distracted. He's losing track of that base runner.
Take up position.
He's shifting to deal with it, but
Defense carrier in contact.
is it going to be? No!
Hull passing
One shot.
75% integrity.
One shot.
Defense alert.
Withdraw.
Azure, I feel for you, man. One shot. One shot was all it would have taken. What's the HP? 13. 13 HP. One more tick from that skimmer would have denied that drop. Wow. If it had run long, let's say that base runner had died. I know it had. No, even if he had stopped it, there's two battle cruisers there hammering his carrier. Oh, 1 second. Oh, wow, that's properly down to the wire. Okay, so if that base runner had been stopped, it would have turned into a carrier kill race. And Ian actually has lower health on his carrier right now. Wow, that's just insanely close. Whew. Boy. Ian goes through. That is some crazy ship right there. Azure with the economic lead, and down to the wire on units as well, so gosh damn. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So I'm going to stop for a very brief period, load up the finals, and we will boot into the finals and see who wins between Tren and BBI Ian.